Good evening, Legionnaires. Welcome to the Wrestle Legion podcast. I'm your host, Andy, and as always, I'm joined by my Wrestle Legion brothers. We've got Nick the Geek. How are we doing, Nick?
Fantastic, mate. New haircut, new shave, wax nose, happy days.
I don't know whether sitting next to Sayana playing for so many hours with that wax nose will see a bad thing rather than a good thing. Makes that fun. Well, depending on what the food is on the plane, I suppose.
Is there an unwritten agreement where it's like the first 10 seconds of the show, it has to be like roast Sai? This is every week, guys.
It comes from a place of love. And
we love you, Si.
We've got also the brain of knowledge, or the fountain of knowledge, should we say? Simon, how are we doing?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good, mate. Good. Very excited this week, but we'll get to that.
Very excited. Well, first of all, guys, in the news this week, we've had, we're saying about CM Punk deleting his Instagram after 5 minutes, but in all honesty, we don't care because in a matter of 4 days or so, we are going to WrestleMania. And that is what we are going to talk about today. So, first of all, you know, Sai, I think it's probably better to go to you first because although it's our first experience, you've actually been to a Mania before, haven't you?
I went to WrestleMania in 2008. I was 11th row to see Ric Flair retired by HBK. I said at the time, it's once in a lifetime. And here we are again. So yeah, I remember how it feels and I can't wait to see the looks on, your faces. It's going to be amazing. It's kind of like things that come full circle. I may have said this a week or two ago, but 30 years ago, I was in Los Angeles on a family holiday. It was Mania weekend. We went to Vegas 3 days after WrestleMania 9, and they were still selling Hulk Hogan foam fingers. We kind of followed them around. Didn't get to see them then. But that was 30 years ago, this coming weekend. There was a Mario Brothers movie out. Quantum Leap was on TV on the Monday nights. Everything is happening again. There's a new Super Mario Brothers movie coming out. Quantum Leap is back on TV on Monday nights. It's like the stars are aligned. I just can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing. And Nick, obviously, you're in the same boat as myself, my friend. It's your first ever WrestleMania. What's your kind of feelings at the moment?
Well, not only is it my first ever WrestleMania, it's my first WWE show. I have been to TNA, I have been to Progress, I have been to every indie company that can go to in this country, but I have never been to a WWE event. And the fact that it is just turned my 40th birthday a couple of days ago, and WrestleMania is round the corner, and it's my first WWE show, it's my first WrestleMania. To say I'm excited would be an understatement. I feel like a 10-year-old kid waiting for Christmas morning. It's going to be such a good time. Andy, what about you?
Oh, well, do you know what, mate? It's a bit of an emotional one for me, and I was getting a bit emotional last night talking with my missus about this. It's, there's a number of reasons for this. It's like when I first started getting into the podcast world, I got into it. There's from the Drip King himself, who we will see next week. We will see him next week.
We will see you next week, Jim.
Which is one of the highlights of the trip. But yeah, I obviously, as you know, I'm a veteran. I was struggling a little bit with my mental health. Started getting into podcasts to try and meet some like-minded people. Obviously, I've made some friends for life in news too, which is awesome. We've got Jim, we've made me too. Got a lot of friends, Dale, like a brother to me. We've made we all become a really close group. So from that side of things, is really good. And the fact I get to experience this with you is just amazing. Now, I was sitting there, sometimes when you get big events like this, I don't know about yourselves, but I kind of assess my life. Do you know what I mean? Because it's been a dream since I was a little kid, and it's like I come from a very poor background, very very poor background, to the point where I lived in care, and there was other bits and bobs and stuff like that. So even watching a WrestleMania pay-per-view when I was a little kid was pretty much not going to happen. I used to rely on people recording it for me on tapes, or I'd watch them after the events and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, for me, it's like I said this to my missus last night, it's making right with little Andy. I'm putting that back where it was like, it's kind of like, it's like we made it, in the end. And it's like all that, and it's like all that hard work to kind of, as I said, I joined the army at 16, got onto a train from Liverpool Lime Street where every possession I owned in a bag, and it's kind of like, you know, I've got wife, kids, you know, and everything else that comes along with as you go on life. But you don't get there easy, and I think it just made me sit there and kind of just be grateful for everything that I've managed to accomplish and where we're going. And obviously, fact to get to spend some time with you wonderful guys, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a bit emotional for me.
Well,
it's a thing to kind of sit there and think of, you know what I mean? And
the feeling is mutual, mate. But I don't know if he wants anyone to know this, but the only reason that we're lucky enough to be going to WrestleMania is because of this gentleman down here. And I've wanted to say it for weeks, Si. I truly want to say thank you for this. This has been something I've wanted to do since I was a child and never thought I'd be able to do. So thank you so much. I'm so excited, but I've got to ask, you're getting this is my first holiday. This is the first holiday you've been on since I've known you. What's it going to be like to finally get a break?
I am so looking forward to a few days away from everything. I'm going to miss my little one like crazy. I'm going to miss my family like crazy. But it's been 8 years since I've been away, and it's long overdue. And that's why when I came about planning this, I wouldn't have had it without you and without your bro and without On the Mat. It's an experience for all of us to share. We've all had birthdays either the past few weeks or mine is coming up in a few weeks. So it's just put it all in the same pot and let's cook up something special. And the best thing for me at this point, and probably afterwards as well, is just seeing the enjoyment in your guys' faces. Like I say, it's
I am going to be a child at Christmas side, but I will not be held accountable for what comes out of my mouth when Matt Taven is on his way to the ring at Super.
Don't get us arrested, man.
Well, it's going to be good, guys. I think, as I say for you, there's going to be a lot of firsts, isn't there? Like, I've never had a picture took of a wrestler. Hoping to get that done at some point. Never, for some strange reason, it's just never happened in my life. So that'd be quite cool, do you know what I mean? It's trying different foods for the first time. It's not, the WrestleMania is the big event, but there's like even these little things, and I'm one of them people that don't know about yourself, Nick, but I kind of take everything in, even the little tiny things and these.
Yeah. Well, I've said for weeks now, the one thing I'm looking forward to more than anything else is American food. I was a chef for a very long time. I don't do that anymore for reasons. But I love food. I love cooking. And I love people cooking for me.
Yeah.
That alone is enough reason. Like, one of my dream holidays was always to do the Route 66 tour across America and just stop at all the diners. Yeah. I'd probably put on about 15 stone, but it'd be worth it. I intend to put weight on this 5-day journey, boys. I'm going to eat more than I have eaten in my entire life. I'm going to eat everything I find, be it deep fried, cold, warm, whatever. If it looks edible, it's going down my throat.
Yeah. And can I just say a big shout out to British Airways for giving me an absolute heart attack over the last couple of days over my flight.
Mate, I fell for you.
Also, Jim, I think the Drip King's still in the house, but I have actually been looking today, and I'm going to check up tomorrow to see if I am allowed to bring black currant juice with me so I can feed it to the Drip King and give him an experience he's not had yet.
He's never had black currant juice?
No, they don't have it in America.
They don't have Ribena?
Nope.
Oh, Jimmy, you are missing out. Ribena is one of the all-time great juices.
Yeah.
There is like cordial you can get over there, but yeah, I'll be honest, it's not the same. Not the same.
Yeah, so I've had it stuck in my head for literally even before I first booked the trip. When Jimmy was like, I've never had Ribena, and I was like, I've got to make this happen.
Yeah, gotta make it happen.
It will happen. It will happen. But guys, let's get on to a bit of the actual the shows and stuff like that. I think it's kind of fair that we talk about all the shows we're going to. So pick a hand first of all, because I don't know which one to start with. Obviously, we've got our main event, but left hand is GCW. So at the moment, the card's looking pretty good, isn't it? What do you think of that card so far, Nick?
Well, I know Simon's not too happy about Kota Ibushi's opponent, but I am. The fact that Joey Janela books this show and has booked himself to wrestle Kota Ibushi is a brilliant irony to me, because he will bump like a lunatic for that man. He will let Kota Ibushi beat the living snot out of him. So I am very, very happy that we're getting to see Joey Janela. The fact that we get to see Vikingo not once, spoiler, but twice in one day is going to be really something. Also, the chance to see Masha Slamovich defend her title against possibly Blake Christian is a very interesting point, because I didn't think Masha was going to beat Nick Gage. It turns out that he's got an ankle injury and was barely able to walk when he went out for the match with Masha, so he's had to drop the title to her. And I wish her all the best of luck and hope she has a fantastic reign, because Masha Slamovich is amazing. I'm really, really, really looking forward to the Motor City Machine Guns versus the East-West Coast Express in Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. I think that's probably going to steal the show. And then, of course, there's the, don't know if you say this live, but the Cluster F Battle Royal.
Right.
Which is always good fun. It's insanity for an hour, and the fact that we get to watch it live is amazing. And I'd like to shout out to On The Mat for getting us absolutely fantastic seats.
Yes, thank you, Matty.
You're a legend.
Yeah, I second that. He's got great seats. Anyone watching the show, we're going to be sat on the stage, which pretty much means we're going to be on camera most of the time. So yeah, it's going to be good. And Ali Catch is going to be there as well, but we don't know who she's wrestling yet. What a day! I was wondering, you were talking about seeing Vikingo wrestle twice, right? Yeah. We've got the dilemma that we're going to Supercard of Honor, which finishes the exact time that spring break starts, and that's not like allowing an hour to travel and park and all of that. I was wondering, like, maybe we could ask Vikingo if we could share a ride in his like L helicopter.
Yeah.
Might be a good idea. Yeah. It may work. It'll certainly get us there quicker.
Definitely. But to be fair, talking about Vikingo, those probably good points. Is I am so looking forward to his match with Mike Bailey. I really am. I'll be honest, I'm not really as hyped for his Ring of Honor match as what I am for his GCW match. So well done to his GCW for that.
Yeah, the fact that Mike Bailey is, well, Si, I'll let you fawn over Mike Bailey.
Yeah, we first came across Speedball Mike Bailey in WCW, WCPW, or Defiant back, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I believe he was banned from the United States for a couple of years. We won't go into that.
Yes, he was.
During that time, he made his living wrestling in Europe, and we were lucky enough to be there to see him live several times. Straight away, the gimmick, the character, the work rate of the guy just kind of won us over, didn't it? And in my mind, he is the best, probably the best unsigned by a major company wrestler this past 12 months.
I'd agree.
So yeah, to see him against Vikingo, wow.
I mean,
I think he's wrestling
about 7 times, mate.
I was going to say, is it 7 times in 2 days?
7 times in 2 days. He's wrestling. Apparently, he wanted to, according to On The Mat, he wanted to be booked on every show of the collective, but they couldn't manage to do it. He is an unbelievable hard worker. He had my second favorite match of all time against Will Ospreay, live match of all time against Will Ospreay in WCPW a couple of years ago. Mike Bailey, have you ever seen Mike live, Andy?
No.
Oh, you are in for a treat.
Yeah.
Really looking
and
forward
if you
to
put
it,
your hand out when he's making his entrance, if he comes anywhere near us, he'll like spin kick it and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
He's wrestling at all before us.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, mate.
Completely agree.
I would agree with that. So at the moment, just one thing on this GCW card. I think you made one of your guys last night. I can't remember which one. Was saying that we've got Maki Itoa and Nick Gage, and their mystery opponents. So let's go around the room. Let's get Mr. Simon first. Who do you think it's going to be against?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Ali Catch is rumored to be at the show. I think maybe she's one name to throw in there if it's going to be a mixed tag. Who does Ali Catch tend to team with? I can't think of the name.
I think you mean Effie, mate.
Oh, that's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, I mean, they're not announced for the show, are they? So who knows?
No.
Um,
There is a show earlier on in the day, though, Effie's Big Gay Brunch or something, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So they
but
may
it's in the
not
same
push them
place,
into
isn't it? So
It
I'm
is.
pretty
Yeah,
sure,
it's in the
I'm
Ukrainian
pretty
Cultural
sure we
Centre.
can, yeah.
What about you, Nick?
Rena Yamashita's sister, whose first name eludes me because I know she's around, would make a lot of sense. She's also feuding with Maki Ito at the moment, I think, in Stardom. And what about Matt Cardona?
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, the Big Gay Brunch is Saturday morning, just so you know, guys.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There might be one in
Cheers,
between.
Jim.
Actually, no, because we're in the afternoon.
Jimmy's going to the Big Gay Brunch.
Yes. Should be fun. This is a good one. Minoru Suzuki, perhaps. He's doing the multiverse show, wrestling Kenta. Do you know what? I said, I was thinking him, and I'll tell you who I think his partner could be if they do Kairi Sane. That'd be a good one.
That's entirely possible. Because I think Kairi's finished up with New Japan now.
She has, yeah.
Yeah, so she's completely available. And I'd love to see Murder Grandpa back in GCW ring.
Yeah.
His last run there was great. He just killed everybody. He doesn't lose in GCW, which is the best thing about Minoru Suzuki.
It's a good point. You know, with all the talent that's over in the States at the minute from Japan, it's like Suzuki, Ishii. There's plenty of possibilities, isn't there? Yeah.
Well, that's it. And the good thing is, mate, as you know, I think as you said this the other day, is with it being WrestleMania weekend, there's so much talent in town that it's easy to kind of plug people in and move people around, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have Impact got a show going on in LA?
Yeah, so there's Multiverse and Matches, which is co-promoted with New Japan. That's on Thursday night. Should be pretty good. But I think obviously they're a little bit rocked at the minute from the injuries to Mickey James and Josh Alexander at the same time. But it should still be a good show.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on now to ring Supercard of Honor. We'll move on. In fact, just before we do move on, let's discuss a bit with the Motor City Machine Guns versus the East West Express. It's going to be a cracking match, that, isn't it?
It's not just going to be a cracking match. This is a good proving ground match for Nick Wade and John Oliver. I've said many times the Motor City Machine Guns are the best tag team of their generation. They are phenomenal workers. They work flawlessly together in the ring. Their double team offense has always been fluid, deliberate, and with no wasted motion.
Yeah.
To put up guys as young as Jordan, I know he's a bit older than Nick, but still very young, and Nick Wayne against these two is a real test. Because Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver are great, but are they good enough to hang with the Machine Guns?
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting moment. As I say, it's going to be a banger, so I think it's something that I'm looking forward to. To be honest, the GCW card's really impressing me. It's very small at the moment, but as we say, we've got the Battle Royal in there as well. But it's just I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
it really
is.
Right,
guys, let's move on to our Super Cards of Honor then. So, I will take back what I said before about Vikingo's GCW match, because as much as I think it's a banger, I will admit I don't know why, but I thought he was fighting someone different than Commander, and that is going to be it.
Yeah, well, Commander, if anyone hasn't been lucky enough to watch him, is the flippiest of boys.
Yes.
He is, the stuff he is able to do when it comes to his balance is just incredible. The rope walking, the general flippiness that he has to him, but at the same time, he does tend to tell a story in his matches when it's a single, when it's a one-on-one. It's not just a scramble cluster. I really, really think him and Vikingo are probably going to steal the show at the back. Outside of the ladder match. It's
for the AAA Championship as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's for the Mega Championship, which I think is the first time it'll have been defended in Ring of Honor in a very long time.
Sai, can you confirm?
I will check that out. Yeah, I wasn't sure it was for the belt. I know the belt is in the promo picture, but I don't know if it's for the belt.
Yeah, it's on the. I'm on the Ring of Honor website at the moment, and it does state that it's a Mega Championship match.
Ooh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a Treble R title match live. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. Vikingo, again, we don't need to talk about how good he is and the potential he's got. But Commander for me, Nick, going back and being the old man in the room, it's like taking little bits of Blitzkrieg from WCW, little bits of the Amazing Red from his TNA days, and mixing it up. And he's kind of that exciting. He's got a load of potential. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'd agree with that, especially the Amazing Red comparison.
Now, just before we start going into any more matches, my little concern at the moment with this card is, and I don't know whether it's a concern more of an excitement, is we've only got 4 matches so far, gents.
Yeah.
4 matches announced.
There'll be more.
Well, Athena, who is it? Athena's defending against the Magical Girl.
That's not actually even announced yet, though.
Ooh.
On the Ring of Honor website, it's not actually on there.
Oh, well, it's been alluded to, if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, as I said, there will be more matches, and the thing is, it's like straight away, what concerns me is, well, not concerns me, but is Tony finally starting to lessen the match cards?
Less is more.
Right, mini rant. On the subject of TK, I was looking this week at the Dynamite card coming up, which looks decent. However, you've got Willow Nightingale, you've got Matt Hardy, you've got Daniel Garcia, and you've got Dalton Castle and the boys, all booked essentially to be obliterated by AEW talent. Stop using Ring of Honor talent to elevate the AEW main roster. Let's have a separation, because as a Ring of Honor fan, you're seeing the guys that are on this new show that's being pushed. It's Supercard of Honor week, and you're seeing them on national television losing to the AEW mid card, and it's got to stop.
It's the same with Top Flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I want to ask you on this as well is, with these 4 cards, the 4 matches so far, does it give you comfort that when they bladder out the undercards that we will not miss any bangers?
Well, you're saying we've got 7 listed on Wiki now. So
all right.
I think it is going to fill out, and now in TK it probably will be more like 8 or 9.
Okay, so the ones I've got made, just to give you so we can cross-reference, I've got Reach for the Sky. This is off the official Ring of Honor website under the lineup for Supercard of Honor. We've got Reach for the Sky ladder match, Ring of Honor World TV Championship, Ring of Honor World Championship, and AAA Mega Championship match. That's it. That's all that's showing.
So you've not got listed Wheeler Yuta against Katsuri Shibata, which I think is going to be one of the best matches on the show. Yeah. That is obviously for the Pure Championship. Mm-hmm. Athena is listed against Yuka Sakazaki for the women's title. You got the TV match. The other 2 you haven't got is the Embassy. Brian Cage, Korn, and Toa Leona defending against AR Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian, which is a real mismatch team, but I think that's going to be a banger as well. And then obviously the teams for the Reach for the Sky ladder match. You've got 5 announced. Are we still thinking there could be a surprise team entering this?
Yes. Yeah, I still think so. I don't like the whole 5 concept.
So, Andy, I'll ask you first. If you had to pick a team, any team in wrestling that isn't under a full-term contract, like with another company, who would you add to this match?
Do you know what? It's going to pain me to say it, but the Bucks. I think the Bucks will add to this match.
I'm kind of hoping it isn't, but yeah, it could be.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like the Bucks side, but it's just for this specific match, I think they would add to it.
They have been in Supercard of Honor ladder matches before, haven't they? So, yeah. How about you, Nick?
The Hardys.
You stole my prediction.
Honestly. If I have never seen Matt and Jeff live, I'm an old man. I've been watching the Hardy Boys since they broke into the business when they were teenagers and I was a teenager. I would love to see Matt and Jeff live. And the fact that it's a ladder match,
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, the Hardys famously went from Supercard of Honor to WrestleMania 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
So to see them back, I'm not sure AEW is ready to accept Jeff Hardy back without a lot of backlash on a full-time basis. Whereas Ring of Honor is a different kind of niche fan base. And I think seeing Matt and Jeff in that ladder match would be, it'd be the icing on the cake.
Yeah, I think the only thing that worries me with that side is because of the fact that with Jeff just coming back and obviously his problems might need to edge him in a little bit. But then you don't know what with the Hardys, they have wrestling rings in the back garden. So by the time you get to this thing here, it's like, we could have done all sorts, couldn't we?
Exactly.
And I said the Bucks won't be the Bucks as they're a little bit busy at the moment. That's what David says. I think the other one I wouldn't mind seeing in it would be Myers and Cardona. That'd be another one I wouldn't be against.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
I like Brian Myers and Matt Cardona.
Just for the nostalgia. Just for the nostalgia. Yeah. But let's, instead of going to hearsay, let's go back to the actual reality of now. Who would you say out of them 5 teams would be your pick to win it? Go, Si.
I want it to be the Lucha Bros. Okay, so the Lucha Bros' reign in AEW wasn't what it should have been. Penta, whatever incarnation of him we've got, and Phoenix, despite what QT Marshall said about him being a fan this week on Twitter, they are 2 of the best lucha wrestlers in the world. They could both be standout single stars, and as a tag team, a brothers tag team, I think there's maybe only the Hardy Boys and, rest in peace to Jay Briscoe, the Briscoes that were above them. I think they're due another big win. And you've got a lot of talent in this match, the top flight Aussie Open. But my head and my heart want to see the Lucha Bros take this gold.
Hey, Nick?
Aussie Open, mate. Like, I've watched Kyle Fletcher and Mark since they were little wee boys wrestling in Progress. And they were, in that time, Kyle Fletcher looks like he's eating himself to put on size. They are one of the best teams in wrestling, not just in Ring of Honor, in wrestling. The schedule those 2 boys cut at the moment is insane. They are wrestling everywhere and for everyone. They are in title matches across the board. And I think this year they're going to do what FTR did and collect some belts. I'm picking Aussie Open. They're phenomenal in ladder matches. They've got a point to prove. And Ring of Honor have been steadily building them up as a team that is an honourable tag team that wants to be the best because they keep challenging people outright. They don't attack anybody from behind, and then they beat them in the match. So I think Aussie Open is definitely for the win.
Yeah, I think for me I'm probably with Si. As my heart wants Luchas.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Because I really like the Luchas. Obviously, the royalty agrees with you, Nick.
Thank you, Jimmy.
But I like the Lucha Bros, but I would say for me, I believe the Kingdom might do it.
Oh, you've just angered the man.
Do not put that into the universe. Matt Taven is a waste of timeless space. He doesn't belong in professional wrestling. I am sick and tired. He is infecting AEW television now, right? He showed up on Rampage this week. The man has no talent. I don't understand how he is still in the business. He ruined Ring of Honor's Madison Square Garden show single-handedly by becoming World Heavyweight Champion when he deservedly didn't deserve it.
Sing him a lullaby, quick.
Pixie dust, pixie dust, pixie dust.
Breathe, dude. Breathe. Through your newly nose. Breathe.
Big Dale's in the house. How we doing?
Hey, Dale.
Hello, Dale.
Him and Jimmy are opening up their house Airbnbs. Lucha Bros as well. No, seen well by Kerry Belts well, so they would be a solid choice. As you're the same thing, either choice would work well. I'd just give you a reason why I think the Kingdom will win is because they had the little stint in AEW and whatnot, where again they were known as the Ring of Honor people. They were in the Impact. They were known as the Ring of Honor people, and I don't know why I've just got a horrible feeling that Tony will go, we'll put it on them because they're the Ring of Honor people. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but I could just.
Nobody
wants
it to happen. And anybody that does want it to happen is so gravely wrong. They've never been so more wrong in their entire life.
Yeah. No, but I agree with you, mate. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying I do, but for some reason, I just feel like it just makes a bit of rationale in my head. Okay, now before we go on to the last 2 matches that we've got here, guys, I'm only going to go what's on the website for now because I just don't trust Wikipedia whatsoever. I suppose we can discuss these matches in more detail on our WrestleMania return show. kind of our LA return show when we go through a review. Well, just before we go through the last two matches I've got here, right? And this will determine where we speak about them, actually. Do you put Eddie Claudio main event, or do you go for Samoa and Mark?
I think
it's a really tough one, isn't it?
Well, the last couple of pay-per-views have started with Claudio defending his title. And I'm hoping, and it's selfish reasons, that goes on first. Because I would rather not miss Claudio and Eddie than I'd rather miss, I hate to say it, I've seen Joe and Mark 3 times when they were both in much better shape. It's going to be a good match, but it's not going to be the match they were capable of 10, 15 years ago when they were having bangers. Whereas Claudio's a machine and Eddie is a phenomenal storyteller, even at his age and condition. So,
see, do you know what, Si? I think to myself with this one that for me it should be Samoa and Mark, and the reason being is I'm not saying anything. You know, the highlights of a match anyone can pick up at any time if you want to go for the match that them two can have. But for the emotion and the story, for me, it's gotta be if Mark's going over, that is. If Mark's not going over, then and not. But if it's Mark going over, that should be the end of the show for me.
Yeah.
I agree on an emotional basis, but I think looking at the past 4 weeks of Ring of Honor TV, Mark Briscoe has wrestled, I think, twice, and he's been in the opening match both times, as far as I'm aware. I think that is going to set the tone for the show. I think it's going to be the opener. I think Claudio and Eddie will close the show. Plus, there is another thing you've got to remember about this. At the minute, Mark Briscoe still carries the tag team championship to the belt with him, to the ring with him. Once you've had that reach for the sky ladder match, he's not going to be able to do that. So I think maybe he's still going to have that in the opener, and then the ladder match will be a little bit later.
That'd be a good one. And then if whoever wins the ladder match, you can get in and present them with the belts and celebrate with them. Yeah, it's not a bad one.
Yeah, that works.
Not a bad one, yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to Claudio versus Eddie then. Si, let's go to you first on this one, mate. What's your thoughts? What you feel is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, they are two. It's like chalk and cheese, really. I mean, on one hand, you have Claudio Castagnello, who I was lucky enough to see on the 12th of August 2016 at Ring of Honor Unified live, and I've been a fan ever since. He may not have the most charisma in the world, he may not be the best talker, but in ring, he is a tactician. Every little move he does is regal-esque in that, every little move, every nuance means something special. Eddie is the polar opposite. Eddie may not be the best in-ring worker. He could be the little engine that could. You can't doubt his passion, his dedication, his pugnaciousness. Eddie is one of the best.
Good use of the word pugnacious.
You've got to drop it in there. Eddie is one of the best talkers in the world for me. He talks, you listen. He would be a phenomenal manager. He would be a phenomenal, tag team. As a singles wrestler, I feel his physicality lets him down a little bit, and I mean that in a kind way because I was a huge fan of Mick Foley. It really is the unstoppable force, the immovable object. They are polar opposites. Is Eddie going to win this belt? I think he is.
Yeah,
I think he is.
Yeah, I think he is as well. I think that's probably the end story. David says there could be more things in play with the Claudio Eddie match. Interesting, because if that's the end, and we know Tony loves his little things and his little debuts, well, it's actually, letting people know about it beforehand. Capitalizing, sorry.
What do you think is going to happen, David? Do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, it'd be interesting because I can't really see anybody. I mean, I think it might have been David mentions up further up about Jay White. I don't see that happening.
No, the story for me, the story with I've spoke to on the mat about this loads. The story with Claudio and Eddie is deep enough. Tony Khan loves going into the back well of people's careers and digging up stuff from years ago to help build the storylines. Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston have made it known that in real life, in story, they cannot stand one another. Claudio thinks Eddie's a joke. Eddie thinks Claudio's a fraud. That's how it's always been.
I tell you what, that's not a bad one. It's not a bad show, that. So Eddie sent Jay Packham for good now from New Japan. Jay may want to receive for that. Could be, and do you know what?
Possible.
That's really good. To be fair, mate.
It
Really
does make
good.
sense, to be fair.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
I want Jay White in WWE, so no, David.
And do you know what? I'm sorry, David, but I'm going to be a bitch here. Yeah, it makes really good sense. That's what Tony will never do it.
No.
Okay, guys. So let's move on then. Just before we do on this, do we see any kinds of returns, debuts, anything like that happening on this show? I'm going to give you both a chance to give me one name. So, Nick.
CM Punk.
Good, my man. Simon.
Bryan Danielson to challenge Zack Sabre for Forbidden Door.
Ooh, okay. I hear you. Let me think.
You were going to say CM Punk, weren't you? And then Nick stole it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to go with CM Punk.
Yeah. I do have to say, with Brian did say he had to go home.
Mm.
Now,
where is home?
Where is home? He could have been referring to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I don't want to see Moxley.
I'd like to see John. I've never seen John live, and I'm a fan of his work. He is a modern day Terry Funk. I know the captain would hate me for saying that, but tough he is. He is the modern day version of Terry Funk. He wrestles like him. He bumps like him. He talks like him. It's the similarities of it.
Yeah.
Or is Jim? Is the whole thing a work? Are they working the workers?
Working? Ooh, that hurts my brain.
Working with work face.
Gee, there's one problem with CM Punk going into Ring of Honor, and that is that Colt Cabana is still officially on the Ring of Honor roster. Now, for those of you that straight away say, well, move him. Just move him to AEW. No, that's what started this whole fiasco in the first place.
Yes.
Well, it'd be easy enough for them to sack him if they needed to.
Yeah. Honestly, what does Colt bring to the product? I love the guy. But...
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm not saying it's a work, Jim, in terms of everything that's going on there, but maybe the last week where he's just trying to jam it home and go a bit more of an arse, it's like, you know, if Tony kind of wants to just pop him in Ring of Honor out the way for a bit, because he's got to pay him no matter what, so you might as well use him. That might be the solution, mightn't it? And that's all I'm thinking is that's the thing. But anyway, guys, let's move on. Let's go over to our reason we're going, pretty much. Or
we've done the amuse-bouche. Let's move on to the main course.
Yes. So we have a WrestleMania. At the moment, we don't really have no nights or anything like that of what we're gonna where they're going to sit on the cards, but let's just give it a little bit of a go and just see what we're thinking. So at the moment, we've got so we're just going through these matches a little bit. So first one I'm going to go through, Jesus Christ. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda and Shayna Baszler versus one team to be announced. So first of all, who's going to be the announced team, Si?
I think this is going to be the team. Well, it should have been Chelsea Green and Carmella, but Carmella's injured.
Is she actually injured, is she?
Yeah, Carmella's injured. Well, that's what Corey Graves said on Raw. So, I believe so. He should know. Whether it's, kayfabe or not, who knows? But, apparently she's injured. The rumor at the minute is that Sonya Deville will be replacing her. I'm not sure Sonya and Chelsea will have the same charisma and chemistry that she had with Carmella, because they were pretty good together. Probably the most annoying female tag team since that Australian team.
Iconics.
Yeah. They really got under your skin, didn't they? I think Chelsea and Carmella.
They could pop back in there, couldn't they?
That's who I think it is.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I mean, it's whoever it is, they're getting fed to Ronda and Shayna.
This is all about Ronda and Shayna.
Damage control pop in there.
I'm gutted that Tegan hasn't made the card, because she was teaming with Liv for a while, and then it's just so it's like 2 or 3 of these teams aren't even what they were a few weeks ago. It's just mismatched.
Do you know what I'd love to see? Toxic Attraction, Gigi and Mandy Rose.
Ooh.
Oh, boss.
That'd be good. That'd be really good.
I'd be very happy with that. But I don't know, because I feel like, as David's just said there, it'll be Ronda and Shayna winning, so it might be a waste if you do something like that. You know what I mean? Feed them the Iconics, that'll be fine. Okay, so where are we going with this one? I'll start us off. Ronda and Shayna for me.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, they're going to kill everybody.
It's got to be. It's got to be. You know, you've got maybe one last WrestleMania for the first black woman to ever main event WrestleMania. She deserves a win on her way out. You know, I think she's been criminally mishandled. Why are you laughing?
To be honest, mate, I was very happy when she being put on the cards, because she's being put on the card for Simon. That's it. It's just for Simon.
I'm a huge Ronda fan. You know, what can I say? Shayna may be a better wrestler, maybe a better talker, but it's about Ronda. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay, doke. So on the other side of the shit sandwich, we've got Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Now, one thing I will say is I am happy that the Street Profits are on this. I've seen the Street Profits a couple of times now, seen them at Clash. I really enjoyed them. The good guys. Ricochet is always a pleasure. I think him and Montez in the same match would be a good one.
Trevor is a lovely bloke.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a really good one. Alpha, don't mind them. Shadow Notice. I think we'll probably get some shenanigans in this match with the Maximum Male model.
Is Chad going to be teaming with Otis, or is he going to be teaming with Otis?
Yeah, well, I do think something will happen here that'll split the Alpha Academy up, which is why I think this is being put in here, just to do that job. And then we've got the Viking Raiders, which, to slow the shite.
Hey.
The shite.
Don't be knocking War Machine. They're a great team. War Machine are an amazing team. The Viking Raiders is a terrible gimmick.
Can I just stop you there? You're 100% right. War Machine, we're a great team. I'm talking about the Viking Raiders.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
He's got a
gimmick. The gimmick is horrendous. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So on this one, let's start with you. Who are we going to go for?
I mean, like you say, I think the main feature of the story is basically the Chad and Otis splitting up. I would say the Street Profits, but I think they also need to break up quite soon. So I'm going to pick the Viking Raiders, because if Kevin and Sammy win those tag team belts, what a pittance, then the Viking Raiders are the perfect team to be the first challengers.
Nick?
Braun and Ricochet. One thing WWE like to do and have liked to do for years is take a super team, dump them in with a load of real tag teams, and then have the super team beat the tag team so they can say single stars are better.
Yep.
And even though Triple H is in charge now, I don't see that changing. So I'm saying Braun and Ricochet.
There's so much talent in that team, though, isn't there? That team is just chock full of talent, and Braun Strowman.
Yeah. I'm going to go for the Street Profits. I think it'll just give the crowd a nice little bump and just, do what it needs to do. Happy moments, just nothing really, doesn't matter. Drip King says Chad Gable wins by himself with Otis is busy with Maxine.
That'd be good.
That'd be cool.
David's actually really agreeing with you, Si. I'm actually agreeing with Si, lol. Well,
Ooh.
There we go.
Grab two of each animal and head for the bastard border, boys. The world end is now.
David, this is happening far too regularly now. I'm not sure if your take on wrestling is slowly brushing off on me, or whether you're kind of coming around to my way of thinking. But it's happened 2 or 3 weeks in a row. So let's just go back to disagreeing on everything. It's much more fun.
Right, guys. Well, we've got our next match. We've got Trish, Lita, Becky versus Damage Control. Again, not mad with this. You've got Becky in there to take probably the majority of the work. But then also, I keep saying that, but realistically, Trish and Lisa can still have a pop, can't they?
Well, Trish is she's like Benjamin Button. She seems to age backwards.
Yeah.
Like the older she gets, the younger she seems to look. And if you think back to a couple of years ago when she had that match with Charlotte, she really held her own.
The only thing I'll say is I hope on SmackDown or Raw this week that Damage Control cost Trish and Becky the tag team championships, because I would like to see them in the 4-way below.
Oh, yes. That'd be nice. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I'm going to go negative on this match because God knows I rip into AEW sometimes, and it's only fair I do the same to WWE. Last time we saw Becky and Lita on screens. A year or so ago, they were feuding, and then all of a sudden they've been packaged together as like best friends. And then Trish comes along, and you've got so many women, like we mentioned before, Tegan Knox and the like, that aren't on the show. I mean, Trish and Lita coming back.
It's WrestleMania side. You know what? Right? I always say there's two shows a year where you can get with shoe on and veterans and Hall of Famers into a show, and that's Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest,
if you're going to do it, you do it at Mania.
Yeah.
We get to see Trish and Lita, dude.
We do, but I'm still strongly of the opinion that Trish could end up turning heel on Becky.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's where Becky might lose the titles on
And
Friday.
apparently, I saw a little thing today saying Becky wants to wrestle twice at WrestleMania.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. That was on What Culture, I believe.
So Jimmy says with this one might be the match I am least experienced. For a shame for Bailey, she didn't have something better for after missing the last few. Yeah, I get that. I think she's had a good run the last couple of months, Jim, and it's time to give it a little bit of a rest. That was going to win. They get fed to Shayna, Ronda, Trish and heel on Becky, and Lita fades away. It's probably about right, mate. I think Damage Control win this one. I think they need to win this one. I think they're turning into a bit. I mean, don't be wrong. I've seen what happened with Judgment Day, and they can still get away with losing match after match. But I don't know. I just feel like Bailey and the guys need this to win to get this win here. Yeah,
and I think Becky's there to take the pin.
Yes, maybe. And as I say, I think there might be a turn there as well. Okay, so then next match we've got Brock Lesnar versus Omos.
Now,
I'm looking forward to this match.
Mm-hmm. We believe, if you believe everything you read on the internet, and I don't know if we can or not, but we believe at the moment that this could be Brock's last match. It's rumored he's been offered a 5-match deal for 12 months, in which case he's winning, isn't he? But if he isn't re-signing, is Omos going to go over?
No.
I think Omos has got to go over.
There's only one way I can see Omos going over. And that is if this entire elaborate scheme has been a behind-the-scenes scheme to get the Hurt Business back together, containing Omos, Bobby Lashley comes down, Cedric Alexander comes down, Shelton Benjamin comes down. They all beat the snot out of Brock Lesnar, and that's how he loses. But other than that, I don't see Brock wanting to lie down for Omos. I see this more of a Hogan-Andre situation with the whole
Jimbo says Omos squashes. I agree with that. Right? Omos or Lesnar, Nick?
Brock.
So,
if I knew who was going to win Cody Roman, it kind of gives it away. That's why I'm worried. If Omos beats Brock, then Omos is going after Cody. That's kind of how I see it. Nice. I'm hoping Brock resigns. I don't hate Omos. There's worse big guys. But should he be beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? No,
definitely. Okay, we'll move on, guys, because we're getting a bit short of time now, so I want to try and run through these cards. We've got Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. Bianca's been a great champion. The only thing I will say with this, guys, and it might be a bit controversial, but last time Asuka had the belt, I don't think Asuka can carry the title well. I don't.
I think Asuka can. She just wasn't given the chance to beat Asuka. Now she's being Asuka.
Yeah, but the thing is, she's being Asuka, but does that fit in with the North American audience?
Well, it did in NXT. It fit in very well in NXT.
Small fish, big pot. No.
True. It's doable, but also Bianca's getting a lot of heat at the moment because she's getting the Super Cena push for no reason. It's undeserved. I think she's phenomenal. She's just head and shoulders above a lot of the division.
Oh, sorry, undeserved. The heat's undeserved. The push was undeserved.
No. The heat is undeserved.
Yeah.
Wrestling fans are fickle.
But I think at this point, she's had the belt for a very long time. She's ran through everybody on the roster twice. She either needs to move to SmackDown and go after Rhea when Rhea beats Charlotte. Spoiler, I think Rhea's going to beat Charlotte. Or she drops the title to Asuka here.
Yeah. Okay, so?
You know what? I love both of these girls. I'm not a big fan of the build that they've had. It's hard to pick. Bianca, I think, is the best in the division at the minute. But it's WrestleMania. You got to have title changes. And sorry, I only caught the start of that comment.
It says the new version of Oscar has been stale as Bianca's run, so you might as well just leave it on Bianca.
It
till
started off great, but I think maybe it's just been lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I think the problem that we have with Oscar, sorry to cut you off, Si, is that she just can't cut a promo, and sadly to say, it does stand out massively.
Yeah, but that's not her fault, dude. She's Japanese.
No, I'm not saying it is her fault, but she's been, it's just how long she's been in WWE now, and she still can't cut a promo.
So why don't they have her cut her promos and then subtitle them like they do in New Japan?
I've got a problem with that. Right, mini rant coming on. If you do that live, which I believe, I forget if it was WWE or AEW, somebody did it last year with Japanese wrestlers. And if you do that live, if you do it live with the subtitles live, no one types that quickly. No kind of CC operator types that quickly. So
they're always a line behind. No, they're always a line behind. That's where the subtitles always finish after the wrestlers finish.
In New Japan, yeah, not when it's been done in the States. That's the issue.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes I struggle with the Irish accent, and I'd have subtitles on Becky Lynch, but that's just me. But I think I don't think she needs to talk, Andy. I think the gimmick and her being, kind of dark and brooding and cloying as she is with the mist and the
murder clown.
Well, yeah, we've got like the Kana Oscar back, haven't we? And it's much better than the Oscar we had a few years ago on Raw.
But you know, thing like if you look at the men's kind of title picture for a number of years and whatever else is, have you ever seen that kind of mood and not really talking champion? Do you know what I mean? That
Jeff Hardy.
Nakamura came close, dude. Great Khali did it. You don't have to talk.
Great Khali, he has a mouthpiece with him.
Jeff Hardy never cut a promo in his goddamn career. He stood around, he brooded, and then he did this.
Yeah,
a lot.
Well, what I'm trying to say is like, if you ever want to go on about equality and all like that, it's like you want to do these as though they're leaders, and it's like I don't know whether she can carry that. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, fair enough.
Come to think about it, if you do look at the likes of the Undertaker, great. I'm out. By the way, do not think I'm putting Khali in the same thing, but I'm saying champions. They've always had Brock Lesnar's probably another good one. They've always had a mouthpiece, and maybe that's where they're going wrong with Oscar.
Which is weird because Brock isn't bad at all on the mic.
No, he's not. Is he?
I think we've only realised this year, haven't we? But he's all right,
Yeah, but no, I think maybe a mouthpiece there, the thingy. But right, come on, then, let's go. Bianca, Oscar, Nick.
Oscar.
Sorry.
Oscar.
Bianca. For me. Right, okay, we're going to the next women's match then as well. We've got Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I think the build to this one, guys, has been absolutely disgusting. But you know what, Si? I think the match will talk about make up for it. The match will make up for it because these two together, I feel.
Honestly, I think it's maybe the match I'm looking forward to the least because it's like it's been booked by Tony Khan. It's just completely upside down, back to front, inside out. The crowd are going to want to cheer Rhea, and the damage that's going to do afterwards if she wins the belt. Because what do? Do you turn Rhea face? Do you turn the whole Judgment Day face? Do you separate them? Do you have a face Rhea against a heel Dom? Where is this going? Rhea should be the face, Charlotte should be the heel. Rant's over. I think it might be surprisingly enjoyable because I'm really kind of dreading it.
Yeah, and I think I'm the same as you, mate. I feel like it's a bit back and forth. But the only thing that I will say from a physical match point of view, I believe that these two, because they are such physical specimen for women, will probably take the some of the stuff to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's where that's probably the one good thing.
Also, you've got to add, despite how good or bad it turns out, I don't think it should main event. That needs to be Kevin and Sami against the Usos.
Yeah,
because the crowd will sabotage this if it's the main event.
I have a prediction for this match.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I think Rhea's going to squash Charlotte in less than 5 minutes.
Ooh, no chance.
They always do a squash match at WrestleMania. They
did
it with Seth versus Brock where Seth beat him in 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
I think they'll be absolutely stupid if they done that, because these girls have got the physical capabilities of really doing.
This match could be one of the best women's matches in the history of WrestleMania. It has that possibility. Their last match in front of no fans, when Rhea wore the Dragon Ball Z inspired getup, was absolutely superb. Yeah. They can absolutely tear the house down. I've just got a feeling to solidify Rhea and to make her point in the story that Charlotte, you should be scared of me. She's going to eat Charlotte alive.
Yeah, but that's where I believe the reason is that these guys will have a banger is because of the fact that there's been no build onto it, and I think they're hanging a hat on that. They're going to have a great match.
Okay.
I think that's why they'll get the time. But anyway, we've got times because let's move on. So we've got Rhea or Charlotte, Nick?
Rhea.
Sorry?
Rhea.
Yeah, same here. Clean house for Rhea. Okay, so then we've got another little banger. We're going to have to really speed this up, guys. I'm sorry. It's a lot longer than what we actually think this card, isn't it? We've got Gunther and Sheamus and versus Drew McIntyre in a triple threat for the IC Championship. I have seen Gunther versus Sheamus. I've also seen Walter versus Cesaro. I just think this will appease both of them, and it'll just be an absolute banger of a match. They're going to absolutely twat each other, aren't they, Si?
For me, I'll keep it short, mate, but I think it could very well be the match of the weekend even. There's a few we're seeing that are going to be great, but I'm looking forward to this the most. Well, that's just one man's opinion. Don't even get me started on that ass clown. Can I say ass clown? But yeah,
you say ass clown when you talk about Meltzer.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, he's an ass clown. I think essentially it's the match I'm looking forward to the most. It could steal the show, and Gunther is retaining this belt because he's going to go on and break Honky Tonk Man's record. Long overdue.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we move on then. We've also got, which I believe is starting night one, Austin Theory versus a Shadow.
Well, I think Austin Theory deserves all the applause in the world for wrestling the Invisible Man. That's a very hard task to do. No, but in all seriousness, John Cena needs to beat the snot out of him, and he needs to do it in short fashion. And then he needs to do an open challenge on Monday Night Raw and lose the title to Jay White in a debut.
To Dominic.
No,
Dominic.
Jay White, lads. Dominic. It needs to be Dominic. Jay Switchblade White.
Do you know what, mate? I'm not going to stop there. I like Jay White. He's impressed me in New Japan, right? But if he comes out and tries to challenge John Cena for the belt, half the crowds will go, "Who is he?"
And do you think Dominic Mysterio will get a better reception?
Oh, no, we'll get so much crap, and it will be beautiful.
So originally, right, I was convinced that Cena was going to put Theory over, and that was the job. But now I'm not so sure. But if you use Cena as a transitional champion for one night to just like skyrocket somebody to the moon, and you're booking this and you're Triple H, do you decide to put it on Dominic Mysterio, the biggest heel, the biggest breakthrough star you've got, a guy that is potentially on the level that Rocky Maivia was, right, in terms of the crowd he generates? You could put the title on him, and you could put the other title on Rhea after she beat Charlotte, and then suddenly Rhea is a little bit jealous of Dom because he's getting more hate than she is, and you set up like an Eddie Guerrero China style couples match going out of it. It's big. Rhea wants to do intergender. It's big. Or do you put it on a Kiwi that, like Andy says, half the fans haven't even heard of?
Yeah.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
And that's no disrespect to Jay White. It's a fact.
I'm going to quote Jake the Snake Roberts here. World Championships are there to create stars. If you don't need them, don't use them. Dom doesn't need a championship to be created as a star. You just said it yourself. He's already over as Rover. Jay White, who half the audience wouldn't recognize, does need that rocket strapped to his back when he gets to WWE. So people who don't recognize him go, "Oh shit, this guy must be a big deal."
Allow me to retort and quote another legend with Bret the Hitman Hart, who in his biography says that there are times that the belts are used to put the wrestlers over, and there are times that the wrestlers are used to put the belts over.
Yeah. Okay, guys, well, we'll move on from that one. I think we all agree John Cena's going to win that one from what we're all saying here.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Am I right there? Or
I think so.
Okay.
And it needs to be the opener as well.
Yeah. Well, apparently it is. It's night one opener. And then we've got second one match. We've got Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul in a high spots match, which is exactly what it'll be. It'll be a great match, this. I really think it'll be a great match.
I think this could be the one to steal the show for the lads. I really do, because as much as I hate to admit it, Logan Paul has taken to professional wrestling like a fish to water, and he's in there with one of the best ring generals WWE has. If anybody can lead Logan to a match that people will talk about for the ages, it's Seth.
Yeah.
Like, these two, both incredible athletes, both have impeccable timing, which I hate to say about Logan Paul, but he does. Right? I'm super excited for this, and I shouldn't be.
Okay. Si, very quick.
I mean, yeah, I read the other day on Twitter somebody saying that Kenny Omega's only had 2 matches in 2023 and they were both 5-star. And I made a point of saying, well, that's the same accolade that Logan Paul did in 2022 because he is phenomenal. He really is. But Seth is beating him. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Okie doke, right, guys. So we'll move on to our sorry, no, we're not at the co-main event yet, actually. So the next match we've got is Edge versus Finn Balor. Hell in a Cell match. Gonna be a banger. Hopefully we see the Demons. I feel if we do see the Demon, we need to see the original music that goes with the Demons as well. Because he tried to do the Judgment Day way, it pissed me off.
And we need to see Gangrel and Edge's Brood entrance. Let's take this full Dante. Let's go Inferno. Let's take it to like the 7th layer of hell, the 7th circle of hell, and let's have these two demons and yeah.
Vampire versus the Demon.
Yes.
Who comes out on top here, Nick?
It's got to be Finn.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be Finn. Edge is on part-timer. He's on deal. This feud's gone on for too long. If Finn doesn't win...
he's popped Finn a couple of times, hasn't he? So it's got to be the other way now.
If Finn doesn't win, what was the point?
Yeah. Okay, guys, so we move on to our next match. We've got the Usos, Jay and Jimmy versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Undisputed Tag Team Champion match. Owens and Zayn go over. It's like finding half a picnic bar, I suppose, and the booby price.
No, you know what? I don't care. I'm really happy for the lads because this way they get their moment together, which I think means a lot.
It's not, I think they get
Kevin and Sami.
One thing I will say is they will get a moment together, but it shouldn't be their moment. No.
We're not going to get into this discussion, right?
We
haven't got enough time.
For the longest time, you know how I felt. It was a pittance. But after seeing them hug it out last week, oh man, I'm 100% behind Terrence and Phillip. Sorry, Kevin and Sami. And they need to go over in the main event.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to come to our co-main event of the evening. Ray versus the Needle Dialers on.
Isn't it the best built match on the show?
It's the best bit. It is, and that's why I've said the co-main events because it's so well built. Hopefully, they will build it some more at the Hall of Fame.
You were both wrong.
I hope so.
SmackDown this week, the world was shocked after all the assumptions.
No, I'm not even going to let you finish this thought.
When Rey Mysterio
did not turn heel on. No,
Rey Mysterio.
He was defending his wife. He was not turning heel. Dominic was being disrespectful.
Nick,
Stop with your absurd opinions.
Nick, I thought you were a nice guy. Are you really defending child abuse here?
I'm defending punching Dominic Mysterio.
He punched his child.
He's an 18-year-old boy, isn't it? He's a grown-ass man.
He punched his child.
He's a grown-ass man, and he deserves to be punched in the face.
He punched his own child.
Yeah, and he deserved to be punched in the face.
Joking aside, though, the build has been great. I am looking forward to this one more than anything. Dominic needs to go over. He needs to take the mask, retire his dad, win every belt in the company, and then beat Kenny Omega 15-0 in an Iron Man. Winner takes every title in wrestling match. He's that good.
Dominic needs to win this match. Then he needs to go back to NXT, learn how to wrestle, get some timing, come back up to the main roster.
Boo off. I bet you're one of them ones that was going, send Hook, when he was all over bloody AWTV. Is he better than Dom, is he?
Yes.
No.
Behave yourself.
No. In ring, yes.
No.
Character work.
How is he better in ring? No, he's not better in ring.
No. Just because he hasn't had a 20-minute match yet, where Dominic's been carried through 20-minute matches. Dominic Mysterio is not as good as all this hype is making out, and it's starting to wind me up.
So you're telling me Hook is better in ring?
Yes.
Oh,
Dominic
stop it.
isn't.
He's crisp.
Isn't as good as all
He's
other hype.
clean.
He's right.
He's got timing. Dominic doesn't have any timing. He's going to make about 19 botches in the match with Ray. He's not ready for this. No, hang on. He's not ready to be at the level he's at. That's my problem with Dominic. The only reason he's on the main roster is nepotism. It's got nothing to do with natural talent or ability.
The only reason Hook's in AEW is because it says.
I'll give you that.
So there's no difference there. There's no difference at all, mate. But anyway, let's move on. Right, Dom or Ray? Nick?
Oh, it's got to be Dom.
Yeah. Let's say
Dom.
Yeah. Okay, full house on that one. And then we move on to our booby main event. We've got Roman Reigns with Finn versus our guy Cody. Say, go on.
Is it the hardest match we've had to call in a long, long time?
Yes.
The question here is Roman going to continue smash and stack 1,000 days as champion, be the longest reigning champion in probably around about 40 years since Hogan's 4-year reign in the 80s?
38 years.
Yeah, it's a long, long time. And is that going to result in Cody's Lex Express tour breaking down? Potentially return of Stardust or Codelander? Or
Legacy.
is Cody Rhodes going to finish the story and take the belt in the city that his brother is from? I still think he's going to finish the story, guys. I've not decided until right now, this moment. Cody's taking that belt, 100%.
I'm going to have my happy boy rant now. I have been going on since Cody Rhodes debuted that Cody Rhodes should be main eventing this WrestleMania and going after Roman Reigns. I've been saying it for 2 years. People didn't believe me. People said, oh, no, it won't happen. People all the way through Sami Zayn's push. Well, tough. Sami had his chance and he lost. No, Sami got a shot in front of his hometown, in front of all the people he loved, and they booked him to lose anyway. However, the question that does need to be asked, and it does need to be raised, is we all know the original plan for this year's WrestleMania was, in fact, The Rock. And I think we all know The Rock was not going to beat Roman Reigns. So as much as I want Cody to win, as much as I am willing a Rhodes to finally win the biggest championship in wrestling, is he going to win? Because The Rock wasn't supposed to win. So maybe Cody isn't supposed to win. I'm still picking Cody. I want Cody to win, but I think...
Yeah, I think also as well, guys, just to throw a little bit of a salt on this as well, Roman's 1,000th day as champion actually coincides with the next Saudi show as well. The actual date.
Yes.
To the day.
Yeah.
So think of that what you will.
I think the stars are aligning in that Omos is being pushed as a big killer heel. Gunther's getting a push. Dominic is going to be getting a push. I think the amount of heels that are kind of at that level where they're going to challenge for the world title means you're going to get a face champion. You can kind of just see the pieces
I'd agree.
into place.
I'd agree, but there's a lingering doubt in my mind.
Oh,
I want nothing more than to be screaming my guts out because Cody Rhodes has won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That's what I want to happen, but that doesn't mean in WWE that is what's going to happen.
No, but being unpredictable is great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's legitimately hard to call because Cody is the right guy in the right place. Right. It's just, is it the right time because of Roman's getting close to that 1,000?
I don't think he was in the right place. I don't. I think that's the problem for me. He wasn't in the right place. Unfortunately, the injury took him out of that and delayed him, and he should have been put back on the train for next year.
Do you guys know my only doubt about Cody winning? Right, the 30 seconds. I know we're over time. 30 years ago, Lex Luger on the road on the Lex Express came through Ludwig Borger and lost. Ultimately, never won the gold. Who did Cody wrestle on SmackDown this past week? Is the name Ludwig a jinx? He's challenged for the belt in Stars and Stripes.
Bravo. Bravo. Right, guys. Well, that's all that we've got time for. Just before we do finish, very quickly, guys. Roman, Cody, Nick, go.
Cody, please, Cody.
Right. Site.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Roman Reigns for me. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. We are going to try our best to get a show on next week or at some point during the whole WrestleMania weekend if we can. Obviously, I hope you appreciate we are going to be busy, but we will try our best to get some content out there. We are going to be filming a bit of a blog as well that we'll get up on the channel. We'll be doing other little bits and bobs, and then when we get back, guys, we'll ramp up the volume with some more content on the channel. But just before we do go, thank you to everyone who supports us and supports the channel. We really appreciate every one of you. You know, I'd say we're already kind of where we need to be in terms of views and everything else since you've joined us. So really appreciate that, and you know, keep with the Legion, and yeah, make sure you do. But from me, Nick and Si, thanks so much, guys, and we will see you again very soon. Join the Legion.